friendly, helpful. It's a pleasure to work with folks. They want to help you in any way they can, and of course it's a competition, and when you win the competition, then you've got to move material, and it's just like this auction here in the mall. Been using the equipment that they supplied and so on, and they're helpful in every way they can be.
I really do appreciate that they use a lot of images. One of the things I often find with other online auctions is that they don't have a lot of images, and they don't always talk about what might be wrong with the product. And I have found that I've never been disappointed with what JD has offered.
You know, the merchandise is exactly what we see online. We don't have to worry about showing up and it being broke or busted. The prices are fair, sometimes more than fair.
Well, hello, everybody. It's JD here with JD's Realty and Auction. I love watching those intro videos there. Those are real reviews from our customers that have bought from us quite frequently. But I want to go through something super important tonight. I just left with meeting with a client a little bit earlier, a prospective client. And what I want to go through here is I'm going to allow you guys to peek behind the curtain, things that we talked about, things that hopefully will save you time. Here's the deal. If you're not working on an estate right now, if you don't have the adult responsibility of dealing with an estate right now, you will have at some point in your life. Most of us will have to deal with an estate, whether it's your mom, your dad, your aunt, your uncle, your brother, your sister, whomever it is. There will come a time to where someone that's close to you passes away, and you're going to have to deal with the contents of the home, and then potentially the home as well. So that's what tonight's all about. Please share this video. A lot of you probably already know someone right now in the situation, going through that situation. And I'm going to spend 15, 20 minutes here with you. Please ask questions. Type in on the comments and just ask questions, and I'll be happy to answer those right here while we're live. And let's just see if we can help you. So post them right there on the feed. Whatever feed you're watching on, feel free to watch those. I was just trying to share this on a couple of our groups here, on a couple of our pages. So that's what I'm looking down here to try to be able to do. I can't find some of them, but share this video again. Maybe you'll help someone. So let's talk about what happens. What do you do if someone close to you passes away and you've been appointed as the executor of the executors of the estate? And in Tennessee, this is specifically what I'm going to talk about. And I want to say up front, one of the first things you should do is consult with an attorney. I'm not going to give you legal advice tonight. I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about kind of the steps to go through. So certainly consult with an attorney. Hopefully there's a will involved. So if you don't have a will right now, please, 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 sometime this week, call your favorite attorney and get that set up. Everyone should have a will. You want to make sure that's set up, because I see every single day people's lives. It just makes things so much more difficult if you don't have one. Now, so let's go with what's to do first. So again, consult with your attorney and start the probate process. Does the estate need to be probated? Only the attorney can help you with that. I'm not going to answer those particular questions. But that's just the legal process of ensuring that you're doing everything from the start to the finish, and you set it up properly. Can you do it yourself? Yes, you can. But you can also pull your teeth yourself. You can also cut your hair yourself. You can also, there's tons of things that you can also do yourself. Should you pull your tooth yourself? I don't know. I'm going to go with a no. I'm going to go with probably should go to a dentist. Same with doing the probate. Maybe you can, but that's what they're there for, to be able to help walk you through that process. So now you have all the contents in the home. Maybe it's you and your brother or you and your sister. Maybe there's a couple heirs. Let's just use that for I think most families now are about a 4-person family. So maybe you and your brother have inherited this property, and what do you do with it? Well, step one is decide of the property what you and the other heirs are going to keep. If the family member that you're in charge of the estate, if they had, grandkids, great grandkids, you could have all of them come through and walk through the estate, walk through the house and pick out some things. But you just got to be super careful with that, because what if someone picks out the diamond ring and someone else picks out a tie? Are you worried about dollar values? Maybe not, but some of the other family members might be. So just be careful on that process. How you all deal with that as a family, I'm not going to try to tell you what's right or wrong. I'm just telling you to be careful and think about it before you make a decision, and allow people to do it, and make sure it follows the guidelines that the attorney, your estate attorney, has kind of set forth for you there. Again, please ask questions, guys, as we go through this. Hey, Debbie, good to see you. Lisa and Nan and old buddy Bobby. Hey, buddy. Donnie, a lot of you are on here watching. So now that you've decided and now you've determined what you're going to keep, now let's get to the point of, now there's going to be things that you're probably going to want to sell. You don't have room for them in your home. So now you got to go through and decide, are we going to sell the bedroom suite? How are we going to sell it? What are we going to do with it? Because ultimately you can't just leave the house sitting there with all this stuff in it. So we got to do something. So whoever the executor is, that's the decision maker, I would recommend you start meeting with companies. Look at, I would recommend looking at the online option and making sure that you have the ability to be able to expose those items online to the world. Now, are you going to sell a sofa to someone in Taiwan? No, probably not. But certainly you're going to open up to so many more buyers versus having a yard sale within your neighborhood. Now, you could have a yard sale in your neighborhood. That could be what the family comes together and decides, hey, let's all have a big yard sale at mom's house. It's an option. It's a matter of, do you have the time? Do you know what to price things at? If you don't do this for a living, you probably don't. If you're not in the buy, sell, trade business, you probably don't know what to price certain things at. So you're probably going to, again, you could pull your own tooth, or you could bring in a professional. So my recommendation is always an auction. Auctions are only the finest assets in the world are sold at public auction. Mansions, fine art, fine jewelry, things of that nature are always brought to the public, and the competitive bidding process is going to allow you to reach so many more people. And that's what I think Bobby just posted there. You're going to reach so many more people online with that particular option. Now, what are we doing about the house? So you got to have the conversation with the siblings, with the heirs. What do you want to do with the house? Certainly, as we get older in age, one of the things that I've quickly learned is we neglect things, and things start to break apart in the house. Leaky roofs turn into stained ceilings. Things that we are in our younger years that we're pretty quick to fix. As we get older, we start neglecting things about our house. Not always, but on average. So having that conversation with the heirs, what are you going to do to fix? What work are you going to do? What repairs are you going to make? Are you going to make any updates to the home to get it ready for market? Now, of course, you always have the option not to make any updates or repairs and things like that need to be done. And if that's the case, how are we going to bring the home to market? Obviously, you have a couple different options. You could try to sell it to yourself. Again, you could try to pull your tooth yourself, but you probably shouldn't. You should probably get a pro. Or you could list it traditionally with a realtor, and you could do an auction. So lots of different options there. Even with an auction, there's a lot of different opportunities. You could do a silent a silent auction or a hidden auction, if you will. You could do a public auction live. You could do a webcast live and online, or you could just do an online auction. So a lot of different options there. But meeting with the family and deciding what's the best technique, what do we want, how do we want to bring the home to market? Again, do we want to paint the ceilings where the leaky roof happened and we still have the stains on there from 12 years ago? Do we want to take a look at the electrical work? Is the plumbing, are the drains draining properly? If they're not, then you certainly need to take a look at money that you invest in the property prior to it going to market. And speaking with a professional is going to help you understand what money it is that you need to invest. How's the outside of the house look? Is the siding falling off? Are the bushes overgrown? Lots of different things to take a look at. And by speaking to a professional, they're going to be able to give you 1 or 2 or 3 things to do to help improve the value immediately of the home. Okay. So that's take a look at that. Right now with the market the way it is, obviously everybody understands, the market is a little bonkers. So you just got to take a look at the area and some of those. Hang on a second. Bobby's does a house have to be in great shape to sell at auction? So Bobby, to answer that question, no, it does not have to be in great shape to sell at auction. You've got a couple of different styles or ways to do that. If we have a home that is in dire need of repairs, maybe it needs to be tore down. If, for example, the family that I was with here a little bit earlier, there's a lot of things going on with that house. It's not perfect, but it's also not that bad. There's some electrical things going on. So, Bobby, it's a great example is that house is not in perfect condition, but the family also doesn't want to spend any money to get those repairs. We're talking $5,000, $7,000, $10,000 when it's just going to return dollar for dollar. So in that case, an auction is a good option for you. Now, do we like homes in great shape to be able to sell at auction? Absolutely. But it's also another opportunity. So fire away with any questions you have, guys. I'll be happy to answer those. It actually works out better if you're asking me questions. So what I've kind of covered so far is if you get the word that you have been appointed an executor, or if you need to petition the courts to become the executor of an estate, what do you do now? I could spend hours talking about just kind of day 1 through 5. But for sure, you're going to want to talk to an attorney. That's step number 1. And find out, do we need to probate? Do we not need to probate? What can we sell now? What can we not? What do we have to wait on? What paperwork do we need to be able to legally start selling items? Because, again, you can't leave mom, dad's house just sitting there with all this stuff in it. So you got to be able to move that. And let's just face it, even our kids, at some point, Mr. Bobby Idols, the Bob Mart, or wherever, it's going to get sold because you too are going to pass on at some point, just not tonight. So we all got to be thinking about this. That's why a will is so important. So please make sure you have a will. All right, fire away with any questions. If you guys don't have any, what I may do is put together a series. I've had a lot of people ask me lately about, kind of what's the steps? What do we do first? How do we get the process started? Is it complicated? If I'm out of state, what's required from me? What do you do with all the stuff that doesn't sell? How do you know that we're going to get a fair price on the dining room table? How do we know that the house is not going to sell? If it's a $300,000 house, that the house is not going to sell for $100,000. So there's so many questions out there that it's possible that I should probably put together a video series and maybe even bring in some other professionals as well, if that's something y'all would be interested in. I think it's time to crank up the old Knoxville Business Show anyway. Maybe that's how we start it. I think we need to bring Bob Mart on. All right, guys. Well, seeing nothing else, any other questions, I'm going to go ahead and sign off for tonight. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure you share this video. Hopefully it'll help someone that's just moved into the position of an estate. Thank you.